He was so humble and genuine, like right from the get-go. When we first met, he was very upfront that he was in recovery, that he, at the time, I think, had about 9 months clean. He'd been living at Evolve, which is where he was living, and it was only a mile away from my house. And he was so proud. And it was like he had turned the corner out of that first 6 months and kind of started to see the light. That's when we met, and he was very proud and he was very grateful for the experience that he was having at Evolve that then allowed him to figure out who he was aside from a person in recovery and begin to develop his own interests and kind of figure out dust off all the old stuff that had been piling on top of him for so long. I could tell that he was having an experience of self-realization at that point in a way like that was very innocent and charming, because he seemed like he was experiencing things for the first time. He was profoundly authentic. He did not, at least with me, shy away from his story. He had so many lessons, and some hard-fought ones. He was very deep. He played guitar like nothing I've ever seen. Ever. And he could sing, and he would get lost in it, and it was beautiful. Like, he was really gifted. He was gifted in that way, and he was gifted with his ability to love. I think that's all he ever really wanted to do, was to love someone and be loved back, in a way that wasn't family or friends, but have a really deep, intimate connection with another human being that some people never get to have. And we got that. When we met, he had about 9 months clean. He was living at Evolve, and we decided pretty quickly that we wanted to move in together and really be serious. He sat me down and he was like, it's really important to me that I see through a full year of staying at Evolve. And he was really committed to that. As badly as we both wanted it, he stuck to his guns. He stayed for a year. And then when he left Evolve, he moved into my house with me. And we had a really magical time. In early December of 2016, he had a relapse. I was out of town. After that, he went MIA on me. That was the most terrifying period of time, because I didn't know where he was. I knew what could happen, and I was just beside myself. And I called Chris. We'd been talking, and I was like, he called, we gotta go. We gotta go right now. It's now or never. And we showed up, and he was barefoot, and he looked like hell. And I just hugged him, and I was like, I thought I lost you. I thought you were gone forever. Like, I didn't want to let go of him. So we stuck it out. We had this saying, it's from the show Friday Night Lights, and it's clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. I would say clear eyes, full hearts. He would pair it back, can't lose. It was just what we hung on to. We got engaged about 6 months later, and we were on cloud 9. And we were planning a wedding, He was slipping, though, again. He started wanting to put other things in front of his recovery. He started wanting to experiment with alcohol. And I think he was trying to be normal. And outside of his recovery, outside of his substance use disorder, he was the most not normal person in the best way. And I think he was trying to put himself into a box of what he should be able to do, and kind of forgetting that the beauty of who he was that he had overcome all of that. I think he forgot that that was the beauty of who he was. Not trying to be like everyone else who drinks a 6-pack of beer and watches football. Like, who cares, man? Do you know what you've survived already? Things kind of spiraled very quickly from there. Making some really bad decisions. His dad came and picked him up. He ran away from his dad. And he called me, I think the last time I talked to him was early on Sunday morning before Memorial Day, the day before Memorial Day. It was super early in the morning and the birds were chirping. I missed his first call. I have a voicemail. And I never heard from him again. And it wasn't until Wednesday of that week, I got a Facebook message from a Baltimore City firefighter who said that he thought he had information about Jacob. Chris was working with the police and with the medical examiner's office to try and figure out if the person that this firefighter was claiming was Jacob was actually Jacob. I just kind of knew. Like, I knew, I could feel it. I could feel that he was gone. And Chris called me. And he confirmed that it was Jacob. That he had passed. He was found in his truck on Mulberry Street in Baltimore. And I walked downstairs and just folded. I don't know a better word to use. I just crumpled. And it was just gone. He was an incredibly powerful soul. He was charming. He was talented. He was intelligent beyond his years. Wise, certainly, beyond his years. He was devoted. And he didn't just love people a little bit. There wasn't any of that. If he loved you, he was all in. All cards on the table, full stop. There was no half-assing it with Jacob Para. Not when he loved you. So the Jacob Para scholarship bed to me symbolizes hope, opportunity, and resilience. Because Jacob had to pull himself up by his bootstraps to walk through the doors of Evolve. He was living on a park bench before he walked through those doors. And that could have gone any type of way. And he and his dad found Evolve. They welcomed him with open arms. And that's really where he began to discover his own potential. All of the possibilities that become available to you when you embrace recovery. The community that he had there, the support that he had. It was a soft place to land. And then he learned accountability and he worked a program and he started to really, really shine. If we can just keep extending that hope and opportunity and teaching resilience to these people who just need help for one night, for 1 week, for 1 month. You know, it's a launching pad to wellness, and I think it's just a beautiful thing that so many other people have the opportunity to share that experience that he had. And I think even more so, really very proud that Jacob's legacy is not that he passed away from a drug overdose. It's that he had this experience, and we're now giving someone else the opportunity to share some of the best parts of Jacob's experience, not the ending. Everything costs something. So it does cost money to stay in treatment facilities, transitional housing, sober living. The whole point of the Jacob Paris Scholarship Bed is that finances are not a barrier to getting well. Finances are not a barrier to asking for help and for receiving help. And so the way that we can keep that going forward is to fund it by donations, either in Jacob's name or in the name of someone that you love who has done well in recovery or maybe needed a helping hand at one point in time and got that help, so that we can keep providing access to resources for people who need it and they're not denied treatment because they can't afford a place to stay. You know, when we're all going through it, whatever it is, it's really easy to feel alone and isolated and unique and special, like you're the only person that has ever had something awful happen to you. But part of the human condition is that we all experience suffering to some degree. And it's really important to remember that you're not alone. And to love yourself enough to ask for help.